After a long time, Zwar went out to sea with the launch. He was a private detective and often got involved in one or the other case. After entering this field, he often sought the help of the police, and often the police also used to take his help. That was the reason why the policemen became his friends and knew him from DSP to IG. He rarely got free time, so he rented a boat and went out for a walk. He saw two launches in the distance, one small and one big. They were standing on the beach and changing the boxes. One boat turned and went in the other direction, and another boat moved towards the shore since Zawar had been in the sea for a long time. He also walked towards the shore. On reaching the beach, the Zawar handed over the boat to its owner and walked towards road. After going a little further, he saw a few poor people are standing in front of a big house in a queue, and the poor people with the same boat. While sharing fish, he saw that there were fishes in the box that he changed. It was strange that the poor were taking fish by showing a card. He went closer and saw that the card was a strange card. A rogue type of person came to him and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Zawar said that I also want to take fish. The man said, "Oh, okay, come with me." Zawar followed him. Zawar saw a man whom the employee called Sardar was sitting on the sofa, picking up the receiver of the phone and listening to someone's call. Yes, Sunny sir, everything will be according to your wish. Don't worry, I will fulfill your expectations. After saying this, he kept listening to the other side and then said, "Much better." Holding down the receiver, he turned towards us. His eyes fell on Zawar's face. Looking at him from head to toe, he said, "Rashu, what the hell? What does this guy want?" "Sir, he wants fish, so make him a card too." "Oh well, sit now." Saying this, he lifted the lid of a small wooden box placed on the tripod and took out a simple card from it. He took it out and reached for the pen to write something on it. Just then the phone rang. He put the pen down and brought the receiver close to his ear and said, "Hello, I am speaking Sardar Akram." He started listening to the other side, then said in a surprised tone, "Listen, are you absolutely sure?" After hearing the answer to his words, he put the receiver down. Then his eyes fixed on the Zawar. He looked at him carefully. Rasho also started looking at Zawar and then said to Sardar, "What is the matter?" "Sardar, why are you staring at this boy?" Sardar said, "This boy is a spy." Rasho looked at Zawar with surprise. The Zawar thought, "What is need to hide?" So he said, "Yes, it is true." The Zawar said, "Nothing special. I came for a walk. I came here after seeing the rush, or I was surprised to see the card in the hands of people. So I wanted to ask what is the need for the card to take fish." Sardar said, "Oh, well, some people become and pretend themselves poor and take fish and sell them. So poor people are deprived. So I have given cards to the poor so that only the poor get the fish." After listening Sardar's answer, Zawar shook his head in okay, but still he nodded his head and left there. After the Zwar's departure, the Sardar said to the employee, "Rashu, I think this detective has become suspicious, so make all the fish disappear." The employee said, "Okay, sir." On reaching home, he thought about the whole incident. He was wondering how he knew him and that employee Rashu also seemed to be a rogue type. Finally, he reached a point. He called his friend the inspector and asked him about Rasho's name. The inspector said, "Well-being is a special thing." The Zawar told him the whole thing. He also got suspicious after hearing it and said, "Well, I'll check the criminal record now." The Zawar said, "Well, you are familiar with named Sunni." The inspector said, "I have heard about it, but I will have to see." The Zawar thought of going to this house at night. As soon as night fell, the Zawar took out the car and turned it towards the beach. His whole plan was going on in his mind. As he reached to the house, he parked the car in dark. He came to the back side of the house. The house's walls were not very high, so he easily climbed the wall and jumped inside. He looked around but did not see anyone, so he started to check the rooms cautiously. But he did not find anything. When he entered the last room, he was surprised because the rest of the house was clean, but this room was dirty. He examined the whole room in the light of the torch. He saw the footsteps on the floor. The footsteps stopped in front of a picture on the wall. He looked behind the picture and there was a button. As he pressed the button, a door opened inside of the wall. He saw the stairs was going down in the basement. He was just thinking about going down when he saw two men coming up the stairs. They must have seen the light of the torch, so one of the men called out, "Who is it?" He thought to get out of here that as soon as he turned, a man came from behind him. He turned on the light in the room and the Zawar was trapped. They also came out of the basement and came up. Zawar saw everyone. These were the same people who were distributing fish among the poor. One of them was Rasho. Rasho saw Zawar. He said, "Well, what are you doing here at this time? And how did you come to know about this secret basement?" Zwar said, "Finding such burglar doors is my daily work, so leave it. You tell me what is in the basement below." Rasho said, "It is not necessary for you to know about it." Other men said now what to do to this man. Rasho said, "Let's take him to Sardar." His mind started working fast as he was listening, thought that let's meet their bosses, so that the whole matter can be resolved. At that time, Rasho took out a gun from his pocket and pointed it at Zawar and asked to walk ahead of him. Those people took Zwar and sat in the car, and the van started. Zwar was satisfied. He was not afraid of anything. He often used to get stuck in such circles. After some time, the van stopped front of a big house. He signaled to get down. Zwar got down from the car. Rasho still had the gun in his hand. Everyone entered through the gate. In front, Sardar was sitting and talking with someone. The Sardar as well as that person was surprised. Seeing the Zawar, Sardar said to Rasho, "What happened, Rasho? Why you take this man here?" Rasho said he entered your house in the dark and reached the basement. We were working in the basement, so he was caught. After listening to Rasho's words, Sardar and this person's mouth was open. Sardar said to Zwar, "Why did you do this?" Before Zwar would have answered, the man who was siding with his said, "Sardar, is this the security of your house that anyone can enter with a raised face?" "No, this person has definitely entered in the absence of my man. Don't worry, I will punish my men several. This will not happen again." Sunny made a face and said, "Go, put him away and kill him. This man is dangerous." Sardar said okay. At that time, Zawar got an idea. He said to Sardar that if you allow me, I will go to the washroom. I'm urinating very fast. Sardar made a bad face and said to Roshu, "Take him to the guard's washroom. We will wait for you in the car. We have to go back to the beach house, then kill him and throw the body in the sea." Rasho nodded his head and okay. Now he took Zwar to the washroom. Zwar opened the taps as soon as he went to the washroom and took out his mobile phone from his pocket. He thanked God that no one had searched for him. He started dialing the number of the inspector. As soon as the call received, he told him the whole story. The inspector told him that he will arrive at the beach house with the force. He knew that the real thing was in the basement, which was enough to arrest them all. The inspector said okay. After saying that, he hung up the phone. The Zawar breathed a sigh of relief and came out of the washroom. Rasho took him and walked towards the car. They sat in the car and the car drove away. Meanwhile, the inspector instructed his force that as soon as they reached there, the house was opened, is to be surrounded from all sides so that no one can see you and wait for my signal. Okay, everyone nodded and got into their van. The van left. The Zawar was thinking about the next situation. Meanwhile, the car came to the house and stopped. Sardar said, "Now you know about us, so it is necessary to kill you." The Zawar said, "Where do I know now? I didn't even see what was in the basement." Sardar said, "It's done well, but still we can't take the risk of keeping you alive." Rasho, "Shoot him," throwing the dead body in the sea. As soon as Sardar finished talking, the inspector came out from behind a tree and at the same time he signaled to the rest of the colleagues. Everyone surrounded Sardar and his colleagues. The Zawar praised the inspector. "Wow, Inspector sir, on what a timing did you enter?" The inspector's companion arrested all criminals and Sardar also and surrounded the house and entered the house. The Zawar signaled the inspector to follow him and entered the basement. It was a big room and it was full of weapons. There was also a fish box on one side. Zawar went up and picked up a fish. In its belly was a small gun and a packet of magazines. These people smuggle weapons and drugs in fish stomachs. Zawar put his hand over his mouth in concern. They came out. Everything was under control. The inspector said to his colleagues, "Take Sardar's colleagues to the jail. We are bringing Sardar." They said okay and left after everyone left. Zawar said, "I am sure that Sunny is also a companion of this chief. Why am I telling the truth?" Before that, Sardar would have given an answer. Sunny entered through the door, but after seeing Sardar wearing handcuffs, he understood the situation. Zawar said, "Wow, what entry. We were talking about you. It's good that you came on your own." Just as Zawar had finished speaking, Sunny ran outside. Zawar ran after Sunny for a short distance. Zawar jumped on Sunny as soon as he got up, sat on top of Sunny, and 2 or 3 punches landed on his face. Sardar was handcuffed on the back seat. The inspector came out and handcuffed Sunny too. The inspector said, "Zwar, you are fine." Zwar nodded yes and reached a police station. The inspector thanked him for identifying such big criminals and helping the police to catch them. Zawar also thanked him. The next day, this news was published in the headlines in the newspapers, and the police action that took place late at night was also being aired on the news channels, which were well known by the inspector and Zawar. The Zawar smiled and took the bag and walked towards the new destination.